All right then. My name is Sohail Adnan, and I have over 12 years of IT experience. I started my career being a monitoring guy. I was campus recruit, and I used to watch monitor screens and follow up with alerts and events, and go back and create tickets and report issues to L1, L2, and L3. So nothing fancy there. I started my career from level zero, a very basic, and you can relate to me where you have started your career from. I'm assuming that most of you have started the career where I have started my career from, right? So over a period of time, I have grown from L0 to L1, then moved into L2 and L3. I was in technical support, working with Windows servers, and then moved into VMware. I happened to learn VMware with some of the best architects that we had in my first organization, and that was HP. I worked with HP for 5.5 years. Then I moved into an organization called Happiest Minds, where I worked there for 4.5 years. I was introduced to Linux. I was introduced to AWS. I was introduced to DevOps. Some of those areas is where I started working on 4.5 years of my tenure at Happiest Minds. I was a technical specialist there, then moved into becoming a solution architect, then technical consultant. Then I was recruited at AWS, um, and I was hired as a solution architect there. And this is my journey. It's a 12 years of beautiful IT journey that I had. I started from scratch and have grown up to be here, right? So you probably can correlate my career to yours, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have also started from level zero and you have moved up the ladder. And some of you who are 0 to 2 and 2 to 4 years of experience candidates are looking to perceive that journey, right? So I welcome you all. And sit back, relax, pick up a glass of water, coffee, and enjoy the session. So any program that we start, any training, we need to understand what are we learning, what is a program benefit that we have, what certification track that we are focusing at. So some of those areas is what I will highlight, and from there we will continue our conversation. Now, if you could see your screen, right, there are 4 stages and there are 4 levels of certifications that are available, right? So the first is foundational, right? So candidates who are just getting into cloud, who absolutely do not know what it is, right? Ground zero, right? This candidate might be a fresher from college, or this candidate might have 4 to 6 years of IT experience, non-cloud IT experience. So foundational practices for them to understand what is cloud, get familiar with concepts, terminologies, acronyms that we use, how does the service is delivered, provisioned, right? All those areas is what your cloud practitioner would focus on. And if you clearly say that, it says 6 months of fundamental AWS cloud and industry knowledge. At least some fair amount of knowledge that you need to have. You might have done some research on the internet, have spent some time watching some videos on Udemy or YouTube somewhere, right? So those candidates should focus on fundamental training. The next set of certifications that are available here is SysOps Administration, Developer and Solution Architect. It clearly says that 1 year of experience solving problems and implementing solution using the AWS cloud, right? So in order to crack or write any of these papers here, you need to have a minimum of a year of AWS working experience, right? A minimum a year of AWS experience and less than 8 years of IT experience. So you need to have overall IT experience that is less than 8 years and a bare minimum of 1 year of AWS working experience, right? So if you have 0 to 2, 2 to 4, and 4 to 6 years of IT experience along with 1 year of AWS experience, then you can either pursue your interest into SysOps administration, right, DevOps, or solution architect, right? So if you have 8+ years of IT experience with 2 years of AWS experience here, then you can pursue your interest with DevOps engineer or solution architect professional, right? There's no interconnect or dependency that I have to do architect associate first in order to do architect professional. It clearly represents that the amount of AWS experience that you bring in along with the industry experience. So if you have 8+ years of IT experience and plus 2 years of AWS experience, I'm pretty confident that you're ready to write your architect associate or architect professional examination, right? And then 3 to 5 years of AWS experience. So apart from 8+ years of IT experience, if you have 3 to 5 years AWS experience, then you can focus on specializations such as advanced networking, big data, security, and machine learning. Right, so there are various tracks that are available here, right? So let me simplify this. What is it that we will be covering in this training, right? So that you can focus on those certification here. I was told that we have candidates who are very new to cloud, and I was also told that there are candidates who have 0 to 2 to 4 years of experience, and there are also candidates who have 8+ years of IT experience in this group here. So I'll try to cover all the proportion here. So the first thing that you see is cloud practitioner, solution architect, developer, and sysops administration. Right. So these are the papers that are available here. So what is it that we will be covering and what is it that we will not be covering? So in my program, in my training, we will be covering cloud practitioner. We will be covering solution architect here from associate track. We will also be covering architect here from professional track. Developer is a paper that we will not be covering in this training. And then we'll be covering sysops administration and DevOps. So that means combine all 3 tracks, except this developer paper, all the papers that we will be covering in this training. Right? Why are we doing this? Right? If you apply for a new job today in the market, they expect you, hey, are you an architect? Yes, right? But in parallel to architect, they expect you to know DevOps also, right? And if you do not have 8+ years of experience, if you're less than 8 years of IT experience that you have, then they would expect you to at least be a system operator or system administration along with DevOps. So the market has become very choosy right now. There are far too many people that are there in the industry today, and organizations are looking for an individual who is multi-skilled, who has knowledge in more than one domain. And if you have knowledge in more than one domain and you happen to have certification in more than one domain, perhaps you are likely to be chosen by your employer, a new employer, right? So from that perspective, we get a lot of inquiries in the market there, and we analyze a lot of job descriptions to understand what it is that is the organizations are asking and how we can align our program accordance to that. So that is why we chose to club all the certifications together, because you can do this separately, but when you do separately, a lot of contents are redundant. Instead, putting them together will ensure that you will learn best of both worlds. That is point number 1. Point number 2 is the entire training is like 60% practical and 40% theory that we do. Why we emphasize more on practical here is people join here for on-job training and job orientation. Right? They want live projects. They want hands-on training, right? So that they can go and reproduce that work at their work. Right, and 40% theory is also important because this will help you out to crack your interview and also crack your examination. So therefore, we have kept this in such a way that you can excel at work and also in your interview and while performing your certification. So to quickly summarize, all these 3 layers will be covered, all these 3 stacks will be covered. We will cover foundational, we will cover associated, we will cover professional. Under foundational, we will cover this cloud practitioner paper. Under associate, we'll be covering architect and sysops administration. Developer, we will not cover. And then in professional track, we will cover both of this paper. Right? This is where our scope will stop. We are not focusing on specialization track. Right? So specialization track, we are not focusing right now. And these are the papers that we will be covering during the training. So let's understand our training methodology also, right? Why we are special, why we are unique, and why you should join us and learn AWS. Amazon clearly says that during the training at work, both during your training and at work, we need to imply well architect frameworks. We need to heavily imply well architect framework. And this is very important, right? So what is this well architect framework? Right? The well architect framework tells us where do you start and where do you end. Are you getting my point? So the well architect framework says where do you start and where do you end? So that is what it clearly says. It clearly says here, build using structural approach, right? Put the framework in position there. You need to have a framework before building a house. You put foundation, you plan everything out, and then you start constructing house. Right, layer by layer, floor by floor. So likewise, when you're designing and building an infrastructure on AWS, you have to lay out a frame. You need to draft where will my security sits, where do I do my backup, where is my identity access management, where is my infrastructure gonna run, right? Complete structural approach that we will cover in this training. Operational excellence. We are all part of an operation, right? We might be doing L1, L2, L3, right? We may be addressing support tickets right now. So this is called operations, whether you're in a network operations center or you're part of security operations center, or you are someone who does remote infrastructure management. Any of the operation family that you belong from, right? You would like to excel at work. A lot of time happens, you go to office, you spend like 8, 9, 10 hours working on issues, and once you come back, you pick up your laptop, sit and continue working there. You're getting my point, right? So why are you doing this? Why are you working on issues? Because there are problems, so you're there to solve those problems, right? What if your architect would have taken the most complex approach instead of taking shortcut? Because your architect has taken shortcut, so your infrastructure run less and breaks more. And because it breaks more, they have hired you to fix it, right? But imagine you as a next generation architect would take a most complex approach and design an infrastructure in such a way which is nimble and agile both at the same time. What does this mean? This means, when I say nimble, that means infrastructure will run at its minimalistic from a costing perspective. Agile is when it can scale up and down based on the demand without a human intervention. So by this way, what happens, your infrastructure can be agile and nimble and adapt to the requirements that you have. Therefore, it breaks less. So therefore, you have enough bandwidth to focus on something else, such as self-betterment, innovating new things, improvising practice, etc., etc. So that is operational excellence that we will be covering in our training. Security, yes, this is a very crucial topic in your cloud journey, right? This will be asked in your interview, and this will be asked in your examination also. Is cloud secure? How do you secure your cloud? What are the best practices, right? One t-shirt cannot fit everyone. I'm a fat guy, I need double XL. You might be a lean guy, you might need medium, right? Security is like that, right? How do you secure your rest and transit of your data from a database? How do you plug in SSL to ensure that somebody is tunneling into your website, right? Is secured, the entire experience is secured. How do you imply a virtual private network so that your back office can log in and administrate your infrastructure? There are various security use cases that we will be covering in this training that will give you confidence to crack your interview and then your examination. Reliability, performance, there are a lot of aspects that we have. I will cover this far in detail when you join the training, right? So let me quickly switch the gear. So step number 1, we discuss what certification programs that we will be covering. Though you have 8-10 years of experience, maybe you are having nil experience in the cloud. So your journey will start from scratch, right? So that is the best part, where we'll teach you from foundation and we will take your learning to the advanced, right? So this is the step number 1. Step number 2 is we follow well architect framework through AWS during learning and at work. You know where to start, where to, and what to consider. You will not do monkey job, right? This is the second thing that is unique to our training, right? After your training is done, what is it that you need? You need a resume, right? A lot of people say, sir, I do not have AWS experience, but you have taught us. What is my next step? How do I cook my story? Every resume is unique. Every resume is unique, right? My story is different than your story. Your story is different than somebody else's story. You're getting my point, right? So somebody's story is unique than somebody else. So a trainer can sit with you and a trainer can help you choreograph the entire resume. We can narrate a story in such a way that where we can mix your existing experience with AWS. Therefore, it looks like a one flawless story. That is point number 1, right? And then not only preparing resume, there are several other workshops that we do along with your resume, right? We will tell you how do you write a resume so that you do not go and lift content from the internet. For example, what happens is you get a lot of email. When you get started getting repeated emails, what will happen? The emails will automatically go to spam, right? So likewise, when you copy a resume from your friend and your friend copies a resume from his friend copies a resume from his friend, right? And when all of you post your resume on Naukri or Monster.com, what the Naukri or Monster.com does is, hey, I see this content in resume 1, I also see the same content in resume B. Therefore, they're trying to spam and they will filter out your resume. So what happens after writing an effective resume also, right? Because you copy a lot of things, your resume is marked spam and you'll have problems, sir, I'm not getting a call. I have done everything, I've published my resume, but nobody's calling me and talking to me. Are you getting my point? Right? So this workshop will enable you to write an efficient resume and publish this on the internet in such a way that your resume is filtered on page 1, 2, and 3. For example, if I go to google.com here, right? If I type iPhone, so what Google does is Google will show me the results. Google will show me the results here, right? See page 1, I have results here, all the results. And if you see page 2, 3, 4, 5, page 10, page 20, page 30, have you ever clicked on page 10 in your life on Google? Have you ever clicked on page 20, 30 or 40 on Google? Mostly not, because the first page with 10 results will give you enough, right, data that you can go and solve your problem, or you can complete your research if you're buying an iPhone, or if you're searching for a property or a land, or if you're looking for an issue on the internet. The first results are enough to answer your questions that you have. So likewise, when you're sitting on Monster or Naukri.com, and if all of you are HRs, each one of you are an HR and you're looking for me, AWS professional, when you start running keywords in Naukri or Monster, if your resume is spam, it will sit on page 10, 15, 20, 25. Nobody wants to see. Because when you yourself did not go to page 2, 3 or 4 in your life, how do you expect an HR to come and look for you on page 4, 5 and 6 on Naukri.com? Right? So this workshop is just not giving you a template and writing your resume. We will capture all the necessary keywords that are required. We will write a fresh CV for you to ensure that your resume stays on page 1, 2 and 3 so that you catch eye of the recruitment manager, and recruitment manager can actually download your CV and give you a phone call. So step number 3 is we help you out to prepare your resume and ensure that your resume is filtered in a first screen so that you have more likelihood of getting calls. Right? So let's do step number 4. What is it that step number 4 that we do after training as part of handholding? We prepare you for the interview. How to crack an interview. Interview is an art. It's a skill, right, that you need to have in your position to crack. For example, let's say you have gone to an interview, right, and you're attending an interview. So if they ask you what is it that you're currently doing now, what technology that you're working right now, what domain that you come from, you can at least talk to them for 10, 15, 20 minutes. You can say what issues you're addressing, how did you do damage control, what was out of control and you have to raise an RCA. There are a lot of other aspects that you need to focus at, right? So you can explain them and he can thoroughly examine you, right? That is how you get a job. But in case of any new technology that you learn, AWS or any other technology, it could be Python, DevOps, Java, anything, right? When you're going for an interview, because the subject is so new and so fresh, it's most unlikely that you can crack a job, right? Because you don't know where to say, what to say, how to crack an interview. You exactly don't know that because you don't remember those topics or you're not ready for it, right? So what this interview workshop does is interview workshop will teach you how to do an interview conversation. How do you make sure that the interview continues? How do you ensure that you don't say certain things that hurts interviewer's ego? How do you have a pleasant conversation with him? And how do you tailor the story in and around what work you have done so that he can only ask you questions from the answers that you have already given, right? And out of 10 questions you should be in a position of answering minimum 5, because this will clearly articulate that you have 50% proficiency. You have over 50% of proficiency that you have. You're getting my point? Nobody is 70% or 100%, neither your trainer is, right? So the step 4 is we will help you out to prepare you for the interview so that you have more chances of cracking an interview and getting a job, right? So once you've cleared the interview, you will join, you will work. So what we have done is we have created AWS on-job portal here. So this is the on-job assistance portal. So once you get trained from our service, we will support you the rest of your life on AWS domain, because wherever that you go and work, whichever technology that you go and work, right? So if it is AWS, since we have trained you, we know you in person. And if you are stuck at your job, only two people can come and save you. One is Google, right? And second is your trainer, right? So we have created an on-job portal here. And if you see here, we have over 300 plus students that we have here already that I have trained. And each one of the member that is registered here are my students. Are you getting my point? Right? So what I'm doing is I'm not only training you, I'm also promising you to give you an on-job support till your life, right? You can always come back and you can post a question here and I will do most of the answering. And if I'm not available or traveling, you see here, you have over 300 plus seniors that are sitting here who will jump in and rescue you. So after cracking an interview, we will also help you out to smooth sail with your job. We will help you out. We'll give you on-job assistance there, right? So after that, right, examination. Some people say, hey, before job, I will get my certification done. Some people say after my job, I will get my certification because they will give me reimbursement. They will reimburse my fee, right? So from that perspective, what we have done is we have created an examination system here. For example, if I click on this link here, we have collected all the questions that they will ask you in your examination, and we have created an interactive examination system. We have an interactive quiz system that we have created here. So what this will do is this will ask you a question for which you will have answer here. You need to select the answer, and if you see, over 280 students have already attempted this paper. So you have to attempt this paper, you have to guess the answer, you have to continue next, next, and next. And if you fail in your exam, do not worry, the system will tell you what questions you have got wrong and what are the right answers to them. So you can go back and you can reappear for the examination. And if you, after giving multiple times, if you're confident that you have got all of this right, then you're ready for a real examination. So we will only prepare you for the examination, so you don't have to worry about that. And what happens is over a period of time, dumps will change, and if you have not attempted for the examination, as and when the new dumps are available, we will activate it here and we will publish it for you. So for the entire lifetime of your journey, all the dumps that we periodically updates are free for you. You don't have to pay for it. Every time you come, you have something latest here in your question bank, right? This is the sixth thing that we do. But last but not the least, right? I'm a slow learner, so I never get the training the first time. I always think that, okay, learning something is easy and I attempt to learn that. And I never learn that the first time. For me, at least I have to attend twice or thrice for me to learn. So in order to solve that problem, what we have done is we have published all our recordings here. So what does this mean? This means, right, even after you complete the training and after 6 months or 1 year, if you come back, you will always find new videos here. What does this mean? This means if the syllabus are upgraded, if the syllabus are changed, something new is added to the syllabus, we will record those workshops and we'll publish it here for you, and this is free. You can come back anytime in your life, click on this, watch that 1 hour 45 minutes video and learn something new and leave. You're getting my point? So we have got you covered. You don't have to come back and pay as a fee again to learn something new. So with that said, right, the last thing is learning, slow learning. In case if you have missed a class, you could not attend a class for whatsoever reason, or even if you have attended all the lectures and you have not understood the first time, right, you're allowed to attend unlimited class for next 1 year, right? As many times as you want, as long as you want, or all the continuous batches for next 1 year, you can attend any number of times you want. Right? And then we do not restrict our students from taking the videos away, right? We will enable the download access to you. You can literally download those videos and you can keep it with you, and you're free to share with your friends. We do not have obligation here. So that means even if you do not have time to attend the repetitive trainings, you already have a downloaded version of those videos. You can open it back and you can see that and you can reproduce your lab. Right? And these videos are yours for your lifetime. After 2 years, 3 years, 5 years also, you can open up these videos and you can see those lectures, right? So these are all the additional activities that we do. Let me quickly summarize, right? I have discussed what certifications that we will be focusing at. These are the 3 layers that we'll be focusing at. Developer is one paper that we do not cover. Apart from developer, all these 3 tracks we will cover in the training. Point number 1. Point number 2, our training is structure. We'll follow well-architected framework to teach you the right way. Point number 3 is we will do a resume workshops for you, right? And then point number 4 is we will only prepare you for the interview. Point number 5 is we have an AWS on-job support portal where you get support for your life on AWS domain through me and through your seniors, right? Point number 6, we have an interactive examination system where you can participate for free and you can ensure that you polish your examination skills before attempting your real exam. Point number 7 is you're allowed to attend multiple revisions for throughout the year and you're allowed to download lectures. And last point, stupidity, right? We have students who will say, I am not finding jobs around the internet. I don't know where to look. Right? This is called stupidity. We're in a 21st century, right? And internet is so vast that you can find anything you want, but we don't blame those students. So to solve the students' problem, what we have done is we have also added this job portal here. So you don't have to go and search for a job. We will find and give you jobs every day. And if you see here, we have over 157 jobs that are there with AWS Bangalore. We have 14 jobs on AWS Architect. We have 16 jobs on AWS DevOps. This is today. And if you see yesterday, 109 jobs on DevOps alone we have in Bangalore. And there are a lot of jobs that we are publishing every day to our students. Right? This is the point number 8. Even if you're unable to find job, even if you're lost, if you don't know where to go and look, don't worry. We will only find and give you jobs. You have to apply. And if you don't know how to apply, then I'm assuming that you're under the rock. Right? And if you want, don't worry. We will only apply the job for you. And we will only schedule a job for you. Right? You have to go and give an interview. Right? And if you don't know how to give an interview, we have a workshop where we'll be teaching you how to crack an interview. Right? So these are the 8 things that we do for our students after our training as part of the hand holding. Right? And I was told that I have to perform a demo. There's a couple of students who reached out to me before this lecture and said, we really wanted to see a trainer has a hands-on experience. Can a project be built in the demo? Can the project be shown to us? Right? So I promised them that yes, you come to the demo and I'll show the project for them. So since all of you are already here, please experience a small workshop that I would like to show it to you. Right? So I'm in a Mumbai region right now. I will explain the region's concepts, availability zones more in detail when you join training. But just to let you know, we have 19 data center locations excluding government data centers in the world. And one we have in Mumbai also. And Mumbai is a region, the choice of my region that I would like to practice and do my projects. So I'm going to perform a project in Mumbai today. Right? So what is it that I want to build today in the Mumbai region? I was talking to my student and he was telling that he wants to do a startup and he wants to build an e-commerce platform. Right? You have Myntra.com, Snapdeal, Flipkart, Amazon.com. Right? He would like to have his own e-commerce platform on AWS. And he would like to publish his own products. And then he was discussing and he said, can you show me that as a demo? So that is what I'm going to show you here, right? So I'm going to build an e-commerce platform for you, which we did in a couple of trainings also, and we have done the imaging here. Let me pull up this. Right, so I'm going to do a micro image here because micro image is free, and this is the image that we'll be using to perform our training. Nothing fancy here. 10 GB storage is fine. Demo project. Couple of ports that I would like to open here. All right. So all I have done is I've just created an instance. This is a pre-created template which had an e-commerce platform, right? And database and other application integration was already done. There was a custom theme deployed and there's some random images that we have published, right? So there's a time-consuming process in order to build this project. So what we did is we have built the project and we have templated it, or we have taken the snapshot and we have kept it there. Right, and all I'm doing is I'm just launching the image, I'm launching the template so that the e-commerce can show up and the platform can work. So while this is popping up right now, usually it takes about 30 seconds more, 30 seconds to a minute to pop up here. So while this is happening, there are a couple of things that I would like to show you. Might interest you also, right? The status, it says running, and if you see it's T2 micro. So when it says T2 micro, basically it means that it has 1 core CPU and 1 GB RAM. It also has a public IP address associated to it, and there is a public DNS also associated to it. So likewise, you have private DNS and private IP. Network card, this machine has only one network card associated to this, and it is running on my first availability zone. In Mumbai, we have 2 availability zones. When I mean availability zones, these are all 2 separate data centers. And of course, the time here, it is 15th December 2018, 7:05 this was launched. They track the UTC time here. That's it. So it is still coming up. I'll give a couple of more seconds while it is initializing. Let me see if I have any questions. Yeah, Sarvanan, we take up your questions in a while. When is the training going to start? Sorry, it is 20 regions and not 19 overall, 60 AZs worldwide. Perhaps you're right. I think they announced it like a couple of weeks ago that they are adding new region. One is Bahrain also, which is yet to come. I am not sure the Bahrain is added here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 regions that you see here, right? And there's one region in China that they're creating for Chinese version. There's one that is coming in Bahrain. So overall, it will be 35 regions in next 1 year. But currently it is 16 that you could see on the console. Bahrain is 17, China is 18. And there are 2 other regions that are coming in. I could not recall. Sorry, one other region that is coming in that I could not. Hong Kong, I guess I could not recall. So overall, when I last read, it is 19. But if you're saying 20, I can go back and check if it is 20 regions. But currently I have only these many that is reflecting in my account here. Right. So let me publish this site and let me see whether it will show up. Copy this IP address. If you see a sample e-commerce website that I have, let me put this IP address. I want you guys to also experience this. Sweden region is also last week. Okay, nice. So Sweden is also one more. So I have given you the IP address. I want you to explore the sample website that we have. It's a fully fledged e-commerce platform. For example, if I want to buy a phone, I can click on the phone here. And I can say I want to buy 2 phones. Add to cart. And if I further scroll down here, I can say I want to check out from shopping. Advance, it's basically saying I do not have SSL certificate here to check out. Right, I can say check out as guest, continue. It is asking my shipping details and then my card information, my delivery address, payment details, and etc, etc, etc. Right. So this is a typical shopping cart experience that I would like to show you. Let me see if I could log into the backend. Okay, I don't think I have a username here. Nope, I don't think I have a username where I can show you a backend. Let me try again. Nope, I think the username is changed while creating an image. So I'm not pretty sure. But there you go, guys. A simple e-commerce project that can be built and deployed on AWS platform. And then if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you have an urge of becoming a startup, or if you work in an organization where you're doing a digital transformation, where you have to build applications such as e-commerce or mobile platform or other thing, perhaps this is your journey that you can start. So with that said, I will conclude today's demo. right? And I'm open for questions, and I would like to answer maximum questions that I would. Thank you, guys. So I'm open for questions now.